Welcome once again back to the lab. It is your old Professor Pilk, and of course, we need to talk about the brand new stuff that was added to Pokemon Home yesterday. Literally, as of me, basically, well, I think it's actually arrived today. It's obtainable today, but we got the news yesterday, literally right after I just made the codes video. So consider this like an update to the Pokemon codes video. Now, we talked a lot about Shiny Meloetta. I actually have the footage of her being obtained that's permanently in those codes videos. And they recently added Manaphy, and they even added Enamorus in that whole lineup. Now, for Meloetta, this is the first time she could be obtained Shiny. For Enamorus, same basic thing. Manaphy's out there. I have a Shiny. Honestly, the only way to obtain it Shiny from the old games was really to do, like, data manipulation. It's really sketch. So to have a legitimate version is going to be really kind of nice. Like, because admittedly, the one that I did on my Gen 4 decks, it was sketchy at best. But what's really cool is you can actually breed them to legitimately get a shiny Fione. So really, this is like 4 shinies in one. So that's actually pretty nice. And yes, Manaphy can be bred. A very rare situation where a mythical Pokemon can actually be bred. Now, they've recently, just as of today, well, they announced it last night, but as of today, for the 5th anniversary of Pokemon Home, they added 2 more, and that's what we're going to talk about right now. And that is, of course, Keldeo and Meltan. Now, we're going to start off with Keldeo here. This is a mon that I was actually really excited for, and I actually used Keldeo recently in a Pokemon Scarlet and Violet raid. It was a lot of fun, and unfortunately at the time, I was really distraught because we couldn't get a shiny for it. It's been shiny locked forever, so another one-off shiny. And actually, I believe Meltan's a one-off shiny, I think. I'm not 100% on that. I'm pretty sure, though, and there's a big caveat with this one, which is why we're going to talk about him very last. Now, just like with Meloetta, more specifically than any other mon, with Shiny Keldeo, you have to obtain all of the Pokemon in the Galarian decks. So, not just the Galar region, but both of the DLC regions as well. So, that's something that is going to take a significant amount of time. And just like with Shiny Meloetta, every mon has to be caught in that particular region, i.e., there's a lot of overlapping mon between a bunch of other games, so you can't, transfer, I don't know, a Slowbro, because I know there's a Galarian Slowbro, but you can't transfer the old one in and have it count. You can't transfer an old, I don't know, anyway, any mon that's from an older game. I'm drawing a complete blank here. Duskull, one of them. You can't grab one of them and transfer it over and then have it counted. That mon has to be caught in the Galarian region. So this is something we're going to be working on real soon. Currently, I am working on BDSP, so we're going to be getting him probably sometime later on, either this week or next. Then Keldeo will be the next one. Meltan's an interesting one. So let's kind of talk about Meltan for a minute, because this is the rare situation where a mythical mon can actually evolve, but the requirements of evolution are really weird. Now, for Meltan, it's going to tell you that they all have to be caught in the Kanto region, but they're really specifically talking about the Let's Go games. So Let's Go Eevee, Let's Go Pikachu, those games are really where this mon's going to have to, or where all your mon are going to have to be caught. Luckily, kind of like with BDSP, there's a low number of mon. I think with this one, it's only the original 150, not even 151, just 150, basically Bulbasaur through Mewtwo, that have to be caught. So this won't be that difficult of an acquisition, if I'm truly honest. And remember, like with all of these, you could obtain the lowest level of that Pokemon and then evolve it, and after that evolution, that's when you kind of get, your cred for that. So for those of you that are working on getting all of these, that one, full disclosure, I don't own the Let's Go games yet. They're one of those games that was not on my radar, but I will have to acquire it now. So we'll be doing that sometime here in the near future. So I think first we're going to finish BDSP. We're going to go back and we're going to do the Galar region, and then we're going to probably shortly after that work on Meltan. So over the next few months, these are kind of our big goals on the live streams. We live streamed BDSP earlier. I got a whole bunch of mon from that. I think we now have like 1/3 of the decks registered, and even then I've got a bunch that I can evolve, and then once those evolved, then we'll register them back. And here's a little kind of hint and tip if you want to like evolve those mon real quickly. I know for me, I've been doing so many raids in Scarlet and Violet that I have a bunch of mon I could just pull over there, use some of my my candies and things like that, evolve them, they will still have the right markers. They'll still be, with the origin mark from BDSP, and then I could transfer them over, and that's going to fill out probably another, if not third, pretty darn close of the game. So it's a real fast track to get some of these. Now that one's going to be an interesting one. The Galar region is pretty extensive, and there's 2 whole DLCs we need to do for it. So that one I imagine is going to take probably about as much time as it took to get Meloetta, which was pretty long. But nevertheless, that be that. Now with Meltan, as I said, Meltan can evolve. And what I'm going to wind up doing here in order to get 2 and try to, I don't know, I'll have to look a little bit more into it in full disclosure. I want to say you can evolve him, but it is only in Pokemon Go. So we should be able to I don't know. I know you can transfer from the Switch to Go. I don't know. I'm sorry, from Go to the Switch. I don't know if you can transfer from the Switch to Go. So I'll have to look into that a little more. But if that's possible, then what you could do with one game is just get the whole dex, transfer it to Home, and then open up a new Pokemon Home account and transfer it over there, and basically get 2 of them and then evolve 1. That's kind of my goal. It's cheap, it's cheesy, but it's not that big of a deal, right? Like, that's, what, a new email account? I ain't even worried about that. So we'll cover more about that when that time comes. But for now, let's go ahead and acquire that shiny Enamorus. Okay, so in order to do this, you have to do this through the Pokemon Home mobile app. But when you go up here to games, for Enamorus, it was the Hisui Index. And once you open it up, the very first time after you transfer all of those Mon, it'll say, brilliant, or 1 step closer to fulfilling your dex. Once you've registered every single Pokemon in the Hisui region, you were most certainly the right one entrusted with this monumental task. So, basically, he's going to come out and he's going to give you a gift. And it is, bada bing, bada boom. We're going to open it up here. Check your gift box for your mystery gift. So let's go over there. I thought it would do the animation. Now, one little kind of caveat here. When it came to Darkrai, I had read that Darkrai you needed to have BDSP to acquire him. I still don't know if that's true because I do have BDSP. I haven't tried without it. But I will say if you complete, there she is, shiny Enamorus. Let's actually switch over to Scarlet and Violet, and let's take a quick look at Enamorus in all her glory with the other Enamorus. All right, so we've got both the Enamoruses here. Let me see if we can get them both over here and talking to us. So right now, the one on my left here is the shiny one, and the one on my right, that should be over here in a second. Come on. Don't be difficult. The slightly darker one is the regular. I mean, if I'm honest, the shiny is not enough of a difference to really, like, enamor me with it. But, it's a cool acquisition, if nothing else. So, and as you can see, they are compatible with Scarlet and Violet, so you can bring them into the most current games. So, there you guys go. Fun acquisition. It's nice to finally have completed that dex in that game. And like I said, Darkrai was not nearly as difficult to acquire as I thought. You just basically got to do, I think it's request number 73. So that be that. Now, like I said, we're going to move on to BDSP. We're going to get that shiny Manaphy, and then we're going to move on from there to the Galar region, and then back to the Let's Play games. So there's a lot more to come. Now, that said, there's one last thing I want to kind of discuss here. Now, I've never really talked about it, but there's 2 more Mon that you can acquire in Pokemon Home. That's a standard Melmetal that actually can Gigantamax, which is really interesting. So the first time that you link Pokemon Home to Pokemon Go, you will actually acquire that as a gift. I've not done that yet, but we'll be acquiring him very soon because we are going to be working a little bit in Go. Also, if we come all the way down here, you get the origin color Magearna, and you can do that by completing the dex basically all the way through Eternatus. So you have to have everything, and since we're working on that full shiny dex, I will have her before long. That is not a shiny, that's just a unique color, but this one does not have a timeout basically date, and I would assume this one will only time out when Pokemon Go does eventually shutter its doors, which, who knows when that's going to happen. But so those are two that we haven't discussed before but are obtainable. So let me know what you guys thought in the comments. As always, like, share, all the good stuff, and I'll be back with more soon.